620 WTMJ, Milwaukee.
It is 10 o'clock and 55 degrees in Milwaukee. Today, partly cloudy skies. We have a high of 56 by the lake, 68 inland. Tonight, mostly cloudy, light rain late, a low of 44. From the WTMJ Breaking News Center, I'm Jessica Ty. The saga of the abandoned Milwaukee boat stuck on the lakefront since October could reach its conclusion today.
At least that's the hope of Jerry Silo Marina owner Jerry Geyer, whose company has been tasked with the removal of the boat.
I'm not a religious man, but I am praying that it gets done so we can get on with other things in life.
Geyer tells Wisconsin's Morning News their plan for Thursday.
We have to create a lake around it that's deep enough to float it.
On Wednesday, Milwaukee Mayor Cavalier Johnson said an anonymous donor has offered to pay to remove the vessel.
To have, a nuisance like this on the beach is not a good look for Milwaukee.
Adam Roberts, WTMJ News.
More U.S. businesses are lowering their earnings forecast for the year over uncertainty about Trump tariff policies.
Southwest Airlines is the latest to cut flights and withdraw this year's financial outlook, saying there are just too many questions about the tariffs and that signs are pointing to lower demand in the travel industry. PepsiCo, maker of Pepsi beverages and Frito-Lay snacks, had been hoping for single-digit percentage growth this year, but now says it expects its earnings share to be closer to last year, again because of less demand and also because of the 25% tariff on aluminum that's hitting the company particularly hard. Sherry Preston, ABC News.
Encouraging healthier choices when it comes to food. State Representative Clinton Moses tells Wisconsin's Afternoon News SNAP benefits could be restricted and should be restricted when buying junk food products and soda.
When we look at the cost of soda, the amount of soda that's purchased, it is far more than vegetables, fruit, milk, cheese, eggs combined when you look at what's actually being used with SNAP benefit funds.
Moses says eliminating junk food from SNAP benefits will lead to healthier choices. He hopes the bill will have support from both sides of the aisle in Madison. President Donald Trump in a Truth Social post writing he is not happy with the Russian strikes on Kiev overnight that have killed at least 8 people. CBS News' Holly Williams is monitoring the situation.
The White House says that President Trump's patience is wearing thin as he pushes for a peace deal that reportedly includes excluding Ukraine from NATO membership and all the protections that brings, freezing the fighting close to the current front line. And remember that Russia currently occupies around 20% of Ukraine's territory, and recognizing Crimea in particular as part of Russia.
The strikes come a day after President Trump and Vice President J.D. Vance said Ukraine needs to accept the U.S. peace plan that President Zelensky finds unacceptable. Time for news about your money. Here's a WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. Hey, we're looking good today. Everything is up, everything in the green. The Dow is up 225 points to 39,832. S&P 500 is up nearly 64 points to 5,439. And the NASDAQ is up nearly 270 points to 16,977. Financial planning at every level. Annex Comprehensive Wealth. Annex Private Client. Annex Ignite. Details at annexwealth.com. Sports, traffic, and weather are next. Outdoor Living Unlimited WTMJ News Time is 10:04.
Escape the city and relax at Lake Lawn Resort in beautiful Delavan, Wisconsin. Enjoy outdoor activities on Delavan Lake, tee off at the Lakeside Majestic Oaks Golf Course, or unwind at the award-winning Caladora Spa. With both indoor and outdoor pools, there's fun for the whole family. Take a cruise on the Lake Lawn Queen, explore stunning shores and historic landmarks, and enjoy delicious food and drinks on board. Book your stay today at lakelawnresort.com, where everything is better at the lake.
Staying active, essential for overall health. Proper medical support, essential for staying active. WTMJ's Vince Vitrano for Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. Whether it's keeping a weekend warrior like me on the tennis court or keeping young athletes in the game, you want the best in sports medicine, that's OAW. Surgeons, nurses, and physical therapists help you recover from injury, avoid injury in the future, and enhance performance. Get care 7 days a week. Walk right in at an Ortho ASAP clinic or book an appointment online at orthowisconsin.com.
A Blaine's Farm and Fleet original story.
Why is everyone coming on their riding mowers and UTVs?
I figured all the neighbors could use a break from yard work, so I invited them for
a ride-on lawnmower movie?
Or, as I like to say, a movie.
We've got the value you need to do things your way, like a free $10 gift card for rewards members with an $80 estate fertilizer purchase, and Blaine's Golden Harvest Bird Food $12.99. Rewards members save an extra $1. Blaine's Farm and Fleet, being original.
For those with a warm weather fashion, try St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores, because that's where you'll find a vast array of men's, women's, girls, and boys' warm weather apparel at the friendliest prices. So many choices, and at such a value. You can fill the closet without draining your wallet. Shop warm weather fashions at St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores on Highway 100 in Layton and Greenfield, 23rd in Lincoln, and 76th and Bradley Road in Milwaukee.
You're gonna love it, St. Vincent de Paul.
Time for a WTMJ Sports Update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call, That's All Sports Desk. Round 1 of the NFL Draft takes place tonight, and several top prospects are in Green Bay, waiting to hear their name called in Round 1. The Packers currently own 8 picks, including number 23 overall in the first round. Some believe Texas wide receiver Matthew Golden will be available, and he'd welcome that opportunity.
Definitely feel like home, somewhere I can see myself, Any organization that's getting me, you definitely getting a true dog, a true competitor, somebody that got a chip on their shoulder like they got something to prove. So, just like I said, just getting the opportunity to go to the NFL, man, that's all it's about. And, whatever opportunity I do get, I'm going to make the most of it.
Coverage of the draft begins at 6 o'clock tonight right here on WTMJ after our coverage of the Brewers and Giants. The teams ramp up a 4-game series this afternoon at Oracle Park. The Brewers are looking for a series split after a 4-2 loss Wednesday night. Coverage begins at 2:10 right here on WTMJ. Checking out the roads now with your WTMJ Time Saver traffic. We're not doing too bad. In fact, the only incident on the board right now is in Racine County. There's a disabled vehicle on the exit to 7 Mile Road from 4194 South, but it's not causing any backups.
This report sponsored by Exterior Pros and Baths. Trust the pros and kick off your home transformation. Ready to tackle your home improvement project this spring? Exterior Pros and Baths is here to help you score big with quality home exterior and shower upgrades. Visit extpros.com today.
Here's your WTMJ 5-day forecast today. Partly cloudy, high of 56 by the lake, 68 inland. Tonight, mostly cloudy, light rain late, low of 44. Tomorrow, Friday. Finally Friday, right? Mostly cloudy, showers are likely. Ends early in the afternoon, though. High of 52 by the lake, 57 inland. Saturday, mostly sunny, high of 51 by the lake, 57 inland. Sunday, partly cloudy, and we do have a chance for storms at night. Monday, partly cloudy, warm, slight chance of storms. Monday, look at these highs, a high of 74 by the lake and almost 80 inland, a high of 79 on Monday inland. It is currently 64 degrees in Kenosha, not bad there. 52 degrees up in Green Bay and 55 right here in downtown Milwaukee. I'm Jessica Ty. Outdoor Living Unlimited WTMJ News Time is 10:08.
Broadcasting live from the Annex Wealth Management Studios at the Avenue. It's time for Point Taken. Here are your hosts, Steve Scaffidi and Kristin Brey.
Oh, good morning, everybody. It's finally here, even though we're a talk show about politics primarily. It's draft day.
It is draft day. And you're going up there.
I'm after this show, right after the show, I'm going to go home and pack. But then I'm going to drive to Green Bay, get into all that traffic and the chaos. I have really no duties today, but I'm getting set up for tomorrow because I don't want to rush it tomorrow because I'm doing.
So you're doing our show.
From Green Bay.
Remotely. So I have to wrangle Bill and Joe solo.
Yes, and I have no idea how any of that's going to play out because I don't
We're just going to turn your mic off.
Yeah, probably the best thing. That's probably the best thing. And then I'm hosting along with Alex and a few other folks, Jason Wilde, all those great teammates of mine, the Friday night 6 to 10 draft show. So I'm very excited about that. I love talking about sports, as you know.
I know. Out of all the extra shows that you do, and then we'll get into today's show. So you do stuff with ESPN especially during the season. You go up to the Chandra Trio, and you do you do Rose's show.
Yeah, Foxwood Travel on occasion. Yeah.
And then you've done the Fix It show. And you have are we announcing that?
Not yet.
Okay, there's going to be a new show.
A new Saturday show, yeah.
That's exciting.
You can have me 6 days a week.
So look at me. You have such a wide variety of things you can talk about.
And a bunch of podcasts.
Including ours. But as far as what do you feel most equipped to talk about in the range of topics that you
What does most
cover?
Equipped mean? What am I most excited
to
talk
talk about? What are you most
confident
in?
This.
Okay.
Yeah, this is the most dynamic, and as I've told you before, and we've talked about, politics touches everything, probably even the draft in some way. Because I know that everyone's going to be wrangling for attention.
Well, the politics of, and this is a topic we haven't talked about, is the the request for $1.25 million more dollars to cover security.
Yeah.
And I don't know if they're going to get that or not.
Yeah.
But the city has asked for it.
Yeah, and they should.
Yeah.
It's a big deal. This is where that disconnect
this is my
happens.
Question on that. Why does the NFL not have to cover that?
That's a great question.
Is that not, it's like just the part of, is it because we're supposed to be so grateful that the NFL is coming?
They're
that
giving,
we are responsible
giving,
for all of the security costs?
Yeah, all the cities, we're supposed to welcome them with open arms, which we do. And there's obviously an economic benefit. I think their argument is we're already giving you the economic benefit. We're not giving you more money for these things. But it's a really valid question. It's like presidential visits, right? When
the conventions like last year.
Yeah, it costs money, and they only
Olympics,
give you so much.
This year is the big year for the World Cup. The World Cup's in North America.
Yeah, L.A., right?
Well, it's all over there. There's going to be, I think there's a couple games, I think, in Chicago.
Ooh. I might actually go to, I've never been to.
I would absolutely go to a game.
What do those tickets cost? Oof.
Depends on how deep into the tournament I'm sure you are.
I know that we're going to get to our topic here, which is important, and we're going to spend some time on this because I think this is one where you and I sort of will deviate from the...
I know, I feel like we've been agreeing too much for the premise of this show.
Yeah,
we've
well,
been
that's
in
okay.
line too much.
It's okay.
So far.
But I love this text, and you can always text us at 855-616-1620, the Siding Unlimited WTMJ Talk and Text line. Steve is the best. See, simple, concise, to the point. Thank you, 262. You've just made my first hour so wonderful.
Who complimented you on your hair yesterday?
I don't know. I got an email from a listener because I get a lot. I don't know. Do you get a lot of emails from?
Not as many as you do, apparently.
I get like dozens
every day.
Yeah. Which I like. I try to answer as many as I can. I can't do all of them. But somebody said I had a good hair day yesterday, which it looks the same. I just probably have less than I had yesterday because that's the reality of being old. That's my segue.
Segue into
there we go.
Old senators finally retiring.
Ooh, is it time? Yes.
It is not a secret. The average age of Congress, pretty high.
Oh my God, it's insane.
I looked this up because I asked, I was like, I feel like if you, Steve, were in Congress, you would be considered middle age. And I was a little, well, it depends which chamber we're talking about. So this was from Pew Research this January for the new Congress that was coming in. The House of Representatives, the median age of voting members is 57 and a half years old.
Yeah.
So at least that's still the age that we're not expecting people to start to retire or you're eligible for Social Security. The Senate, the median age is now 64.7 years.
Yeah, and that's...
So you're right in the median.
I'd be in the median.
Senate.
Yeah, I'd be middle age.
And now, apparently, with Senator Dick Durbin from Illinois announcing that he is going to retire, depending on who replaces him, maybe that number will come down a little bit more for the Senate.
And you told me earlier he's 80?
He is 80.
Yeah. Which is old, yeah.
That is older than, there's a lot of people who don't even make it to 80.
Not for presidents, though.
Also in Illinois, I might butcher her name, but Representative Jan Schakowsky announced that she is not going to run again. And there's already a younger woman who has announced that she was going to primary Representative Schakowsky, but now that kind of clears the way for her until someone else announces. But I had wanted to talk about this last week.
Yeah.
Because it's been about a week since Vice Chair of the DNC, David Hogg, who mostly is famous, that might not be the right word that I want to use, but Survivor of Parkland. Mm-hmm. And he has been an outspoken gun reform activist, went to Harvard, popular on Twitter as far as his clapbacks, et cetera, et cetera. He was voted into being vice chair in this when Ben Wickler lost.
At the age of 25.
So he is young.
Pretty significant.
And then most recently, he has been making news because he announced a $20 million fund to primary Democrats.
Right.
And as you might imagine, there's a lot of establishment folks who were not super happy about that, including he recently was on Jake Tapper's show talking about his reasoning behind this.
Who are some of the Democrats that you want to primary? Who are some of these people that you think deserve the Democrats to focus on them in their safe seats, $20 million worth?
Well, in particular, right now, what we're hoping with this effort is by announcing this, we can get a lot of them to decide not to run for office again so that this isn't necessary.
Give me one name.
Well, I have to wait to see who retires out there because we don't want to pick unnecessary fights. But we're willing to do that if our approval rating continues to be at this rate, not to mention the fact, yes, we're planning on spending millions of dollars to ensure that we're getting Democrats that are simply, this is not a thing that is just about age. To be clear, there are older people who suck, as we just saw, and there are younger people who suck as well, and people of all ages. Unfortunately, that is not specific to age. We are here to find the most effective young people in our country, truly generational leaders, and replace people that are failing to meet the moment right now that we hope step aside. And in addition to that, we want our frontline candidates to win. Just yesterday, we gave the DCCC $100,000 as one of their biggest contributors this cycle. And that's because we're not just talking about challenging Democrats in safer seats. We want to support young people that are running in our frontline seats as well to get us into the majority in the first place.
So we got to take a break, but I want to keep this conversation going because I think he's right as far as Democrats polling very, very low.
Yes.
And what are you going to do? And I think there is a lot of frustration in the Nancy Pelosi's and the Dick Durbins and some of these guys. It's like, listen, move on. You are not doing a great job of leading this party anymore. So let's take a break, and because you feel like you might disagree with me on this.
A little bit.
Yeah. All right, stay with us on Point Taken on WTMJ.
It's Gina Della. You've heard me define what makes Pella Windows and Doors different. Let me introduce you to the woman behind the billboards, commercials, and share my extraordinary journey of resilience, reinvention, and shattering glass ceilings every Saturday morning at 6:30 on 620 WTMJ and anywhere you stream podcasts for What's the Difference with Gina Della to discuss business coaching across all industries, featuring successful executives, entrepreneurs, and mentors along the way. This is a story you won't want to miss.
Hey, this is WTMJ Steve Scaffidi from Milwaukee Weight Loss. I love talking about Milwaukee Weight Loss because I've been on this journey for over 3 months now. Get this, almost 40 pounds lost. Kind of going above and below 40-pound mark, but it's the secret, by the way, to losing up to 1 pound of fat every day. Their doctors developed, easy to follow. I'm following it. You can do it too. It helps you lose weight fast, naturally, safely, no drugs, no injections, expensive injections. No risk of serious side effects, no prepackaged, the gimmicky stuff, meals, bars, shakes, all that stuff. You don't even have to exercise if you don't want to. I do light walking. That's all you need to do, really. Their program helps reset your metabolism so you can keep the weight off for good with a coach for ongoing support. Their program costs up to half as much and works up to twice as fast as most of the other programs. Go to MilwaukeeWeightLoss.com. Schedule your free consultation. Look, 20 to 30 pounds in a month or two, how's that sound? I'm a success story. You can be too. It's crazy to watch your body lose that weight. Schedule your free consultation today. Don't wait. 262-449-1180 or go online at MilwaukeeWeightLoss.com. MilwaukeeWeightLoss.com. Results may vary.
Hi, I'm Rose Gray with Fox World Travel, and I'm excited to share that our exclusive guided Alaska land and sea journeys are now available for 2026. We partner with Holland America Line to curate the best and most sought-after experiences to Alaska. We send hundreds of travelers from Wisconsin to Alaska every year, along with experienced Fox tour managers for peace of mind. Don't just picture Alaska, live it. We have limited spots, and these tours are booking fast. Visit Fox World Travel online or call 866 Go Fox Go.
Oh man, take a look at my life. I'm a lot like you. I need someone.
Oh, Neil Young, Old Man? Is that what it is? Yeah. I saw him perform it live, by the way.
All right, so
Yes.
talking about older, in this case specifically Democrats, but it also, I feel like this also reminds me of the point we are right now, reflecting some similarities, parallels to the Tea Party in 2010, when there was more of a grassroots frustration with where Republicans were after Obama had gotten elected. And I'm not the first one to make this comparison, but it seems like there is a lot of frustrated Democrats feeling like we got to shake things up because obviously this last time around did not work. And so with the pressure of David Hogg, young guy, announcing that they're going to primary some candidates. I don't know if Dick Durbin's going to say that this is the reason why he's deciding not to run.
No.
But he did decide not to run, now opening, for a fairly competitive primary in Illinois, being one of those states that whoever wins that primary is probably going to win that seat.
All right, so if you look at the context of it, we had Joe Biden, who obviously was not ready for prime time for a second run for the White House. You agree with that?
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, you're a Democrat.
I was, the day after that debate was...
Yeah. And I essentially
emotional.
I predicted it. I was on a listener trip, and people were asking me what's going to happen. I said he's done. He's finished. That was brutal. So the context of age, I think most voters, not just Democrats, people are looking at it saying, what are we doing here?
Retire.
I understand. Enjoy your life.
Enjoy your life.
Take a listener
trip. Sit on a beach. Hang out with your grandkids.
But here, we have two things happening at the same time. We have that sort of desire, but then we have the Joe Bidens who just left and Donald Trump who just won re-election, who if he finishes his term, will be the oldest president.
In our state, we also have a governor who's going to be, if he were to run again, would start his term at 75.
He hasn't thrown in the towel yet either, and he's probably
not. It sounds like he's definitely not decided.
No,
when Dan Bice was here on Monday when you were out, he was, and he knows, he's got the inside on a lot of stuff. He goes, I'm 50-50. Like, I don't know.
And I think that's right. So I listened carefully to the David Hogg piece a couple times. He got it right, though. It's not just about old people. You make it about old people, you're going to lose. There's a lot of old people who vote. You cannot do that.
But don't you think there's also a lot of old people who vote who also are like, we need younger people?
Yeah, I admit that. But there's also, as he said in the clip, young people that suck too.
I like how blunt he was with that.
Which is the cool thing about him, right? I would argue...
You're not going to change our vocabulary just because we're on cable television.
I would argue that I think, and Ben Wickler sort of agreed with me when I asked him about this post-election, that some part of the problem for Democrats is they didn't hit the target issues for voters in November. They missed those, like the border, immigration.
Economy.
Economy. They missed that stuff. Those are issues.
Rahm Emanuel. I was listening to an interview that he's and I don't know why he's on the press circuit right now. I don't know what he's pushing besides maybe running for something.
Right.
But anyways, because it's not like he has a book that he's just published.
Oh, he's going to run for something.
But he was talking. He's like, I don't know why going into the debate with Kamala Harris versus now President Trump. She was winning. Like, she had all of that initial
She
momentum.
won the debates.
She won the debate. And then they switched from talking about the economy to talking about democracy. And he was just like, I don't know who made that decision, because everyone who cared about that democracy argument was already voting for her. And so who were you winning by focusing on that? And that was a huge miss.
Yeah, and Ben and I have talked about this. Ben Wickler, chair of the Wisconsin Democratic Party, at least for a few more weeks, that the process was fumbled in some ways, and not having like sort of an open candidate forum at the actual convention. All of those things sort of led to what eventually happened, which is she lost.
Well, and that comes back to the David Hogg thing, because now he's getting a little bit of a slap on the hand. And so the Ken Martin, who ended up winning the chair of the National DNC, has said it's expected, I think today, to announce a proposal to change the party's rules to mandate all DNC officers stay neutral in all Democratic primaries. And so him as a vice chair, if this passes, was going to have to choose between his vice chair position.
What do you think he'll choose?
I actually think he'd choose the other. I don't think he cares enough about. I think he is. I don't know the guy, but I would say to come out with this bold of a statement right after you win this insider position means that you care about this a lot.
Let's take a break here. Kristin and Steve on Point Taken, PT as I like to call it, on this Thursday edition. Taksha makes a great point, and it goes back to what I just mentioned about issues and what Democrats should be looking at in the weeks, months, and years ahead. We'll finish this conversation and we'll whip into our next one on the Thursday edition. Yes, 620 WTMJ.
Visit family-owned Ken Michaels Furniture and our in-store design centers, where you'll still find beautiful, luxurious, heirloom-quality American-made furniture. Right now, save 30 to 35% store-wide and take advantage of our complimentary design services. Whether you're moving, renovating, or updating, our designers will help your vision become a reality. Visit Ken Michaels Furniture in Brookfield on Capitol Drive and in Greenfield on Highway 100 to save 30 to 35% store-wide today. Sleep better and save more with mattresses from Milwaukee Mattress and Ken Michaels Furniture. Handcrafted in our Milwaukee factory, our mattresses utilize natural materials like cotton cushioning, which dissipates body heat, Joma wool quilts for warm wintry nights and cool summer evenings, and natural latex providing superior conformability and pressure relief for aching joints. Stop in today at any Ken Michaels Furniture store and save up to 50% compared to national brands.
This week on What's on Tap, we served up something extra special. We talked with the talented chef behind the all-new sushi experience at St. Kate, the Arts Hotel. Discover how St. Kate is blending artistry and flavor with their exciting new sushi menu, crafted with the freshest ingredients, finest seafood, and a whole lot of creativity. Ready for your next unforgettable night out? Find the interview on WTMJ.com or the What's on Tap podcast. Learn more about the new sushi menu at stkatearts.com.
Start your weekend tonight with a free dinner at the historic and gorgeous Fox and Hounds Supper Club. WTMJ's John Mercure here. I love the Fox and Hounds. It is the best dining value in the state. Your second dinner is always free. Steak, ribs, seafood, pasta, a big fresh salad, any dinner item on the menu, your second one is free. Desserts and ice cream drinks, yeah, and they're huge. Buy one, get one free. So relax with your favorite beverage in the 8 unique dining rooms or on the patio in the woods. Spectacular views. I love the patio. Celebrate a birthday, an anniversary, or just a quiet dinner with your sweetie. Your second dinner is always free. The Fox and Hounds, just off Highway 167, 2 miles east of the beautiful Holy Hill Shrine. The drive through the Kettle Moraine Forest is a must-see. Weekends might be too busy. Enjoy your free dinner tonight. And the Friday Fish Fry is all you care to eat and one of the best. Visit foxandhoundsrestaurant.com. Enjoy your free dinner. Tables are open. It's the famous Fox and Hounds.
Hey, it's Vince Vitrano from Wisconsin's Morning News. It's baseball season, which means Brewers 360 is back every day at 8:40. Sponsored by Outdoor Living Unlimited. Every day, all season long, we're joined exclusively by Brewers guests, including manager Pat Murphy and more. So Murphy, as we're wrapping up our interview.
Great talking to you. Really enjoyed it, okay?
I was like, you did? Is he just in a good mood, or what'd y'all do to Murph?
Brewers 360 is sponsored by Outdoor Living Unlimited and Big Fish Contracting.
Oh my good, the music is rocking this one. I like it. Jazz. Got producer Brandon looking over his shoulder. Brandon's trying to learn from the youngster. Oh yeah.
All right, thoughts.
All right, so listeners often lead the way. That's the great thing about talk radio. And I think this is something that's I've said before, and I'm curious what you think, and it's going to segue into our next conversation in the next half hour. Democrats could easily catch a big chunk of independent and moderate Republicans if they would move somewhat right on key issues. And Ben and I have talked about this. Others, Joe's talked about this.
So when you say move right on key issues,
it can't be free everything for everybody. I guess that's the extreme example.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess that's the easiest way to put it so people would understand. Look, and we're going to play a clip from
Pete Buttigieg.
Yeah,
he has entered the Brotastic Manosphere podcast.
Beard wearing. Apparently beards are
Another
back.
guy who's doing the press rounds without having a book to push. He's been on a lot of podcasts right now. But so you think that as far as not saying everything free for everyone, but do you really think that that's what most
in the presidential
Democrats
election
are running on?
I don't know. I guess I'm not a Democrat, so you'd have to tell me. I hear the things that Democrats say,
Well,
and
I
liberals.
certainly think they're running on not cutting Medicaid and not cutting Social Security.
Just me saying this, everyone should run on that. That's a no-brainer. And I talk to people young and old.
There's a difference between running on ways to fix things and running on burning it all down.
I'll give you a couple quick ones. We're going to talk about this. What do you do with child care? Is it free for everybody? College student loans.
You would admit that it is an industry that has had a market failure.
Oh, absolutely.
Right? Like
could have been fixed by Congress. They didn't do anything.
There is something there as far as like just the economics of what it takes to pay someone a living wage to help raise your children versus the economy needs of people not leaving the workforce, and that between government, businesses, and parents, there is some shared responsibility in that to make sure that in the most vital years of child development, they are getting the attention and help and education that they need.
Real life lesson.
Agree with that?
Yes, absolutely. Because I have 2 daughters who have their kids in childcare. They make a lot of money in their jobs, but the amount of money they pay for childcare, percentage-wise, is astronomically different than what Kathy and I paid when they were young children, my 2 daughters. So just the percentage-wise, it doesn't make any sense. All of these things could have been fixed by a Congress who's actually interested in these subjects, but they've sort of tried not to do these things. They don't fix anything. They talk, and that's the problem. All right, we are going to continue this conversation in a different way, more specifics from Pete Buttigieg, who had a lot to say about some of the things we were just talking about.
Well, I think he has a lot to say as far as what I think when people say, as someone who's been called an unhinged liberal, is it this unhinged when you talk about what we all want and what we would all, I think, come to expect from a government? So we're going to play a quote from him from Flagrant, Andrew Schultz's podcast.
Yeah, and Pete's got a lot of energy and a smart-looking beard, so we'll get to that conversation after this. We got local news, of course. I don't know who's coming in to do it, but we have, before we get to that, the latest now from ABC News.
ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. The Trump administration is asking the Supreme Court to allow enforcement of a ban on transgender people in the military while legal challenges proceed. A federal appeals court recently kept in place a court order blocking the policy nationwide. 50,000 mourners have so far filed past the casket of Pope Francis, and approximately 50 heads of state are expected at the Pope's funeral this weekend. There's a man in custody now in connection with a wildfire that's been burning in southern New Jersey all week.
Officials say they have now made an arrest in the origins of the Jones Road fire, which they now say has charred 15,000 acres. According to officials, law enforcement arrested a 19-year-old man who they say Tuesday morning set a bonfire, lit some wood pallets on fire, and then left the area while failing to extinguish them. And they say the remnants of that bonfire is what then spread.
Sales of previously owned homes slumped in March. This is ABC News.
Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time is 10:31. I'm Jessica Ty. A teacher under arrest for possessing child pornography. Appleton police got a tip from the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, revealing Colin Killeran of Appleton is the primary suspect. Killeran was a teacher at St. Ignatius in Kaukauna, but there's no evidence any children from the school were harmed. A Wisconsin military commander suspended over portraits on a wall. Colonel Shayla Baez-Ramirez was just suspended as garrison commander at Fort McCoy. The U.S. Army says this is not related to misconduct. Her suspension comes after Fort McCoy drew criticism for reportedly not displaying photos of President Trump and Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth. In a Facebook post, the Army Reserves called it vandalism of the leadership board. Baez-Ramirez is Fort McCoy's first female garrison commander. And after years of preparing, Green Bay, Wisconsin is now in the national spotlight. The NFL draft is tonight. The center of the world, the football world, is the frozen tundra for the next 3 days. Miami quarterback Cam Ward is expected to be the first pick in round 1 tonight. Time for news about your money. Let's check out the WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. The good news, we remain in the green. The Dow is up 192 points to 39,799. The S&P 500 is up nearly 62 points to 5,437. And the NASDAQ is up 272 points to 16,980. Financial planning at every level. Annex Comprehensive Wealth. Annex Private Client. Annex Ignite. Details at annexwealth.com. Checking out the roads now with your WTMJ Time Saver Traffic. We have looked pretty good. And as I take a look at the big board right now, how about that? We've got nothing in the Milwaukee area, no incidents. That's some good news. And just because we don't typically do this, but I'm going to do it today, I'm going to look closer at Green Bay. I do see I-41 North a little bit beyond the ramp from County S. Right shoulder is blocked due to a car that's broken down there. And just a little bit up from that in Brown County, I-41 North at the ramp from County F. You can expect lane closures because there's some debris in the road. I can see it. Something black. Doesn't look too big. But cars going by it right now, and that ends up being a problem. So they've got to clean that up. Here's your WTMJ 5-day forecast today. Partly cloudy, high of 56 by the lake, 68 inland. Tonight, mostly cloudy. We'll dip down to 44 for the low. Friday, mostly cloudy. Showers are likely, but that's going to end in the early afternoon. High of 52 tomorrow by the lake, 57 inland. Saturday, mostly sunny. That's going to look nice. High of 51 by the lake, 57 inland. Sunday, partly cloudy, and we do have a chance for storms at night. High of 57 by the lake, 64 inland, and then wait until we get to Monday. We are really warming things up. Partly cloudy. We do have a slight chance for storms, but the temps, 74 by the lake, 79 inland, almost 80. It is currently 64 degrees in Kenosha, 52 up in Green Bay, and 55 here in Milwaukee. I'm Jessica Ty. Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time is 10:34.
Explore outdoor living this Saturday from Eric Brown, the president of Outdoor Living Unlimited. He knows his stuff. They expand your living space with decks, patios, fire pits, even outdoor kitchens, and can show you a virtual reality of it all for starters. Outdoor Living Unlimited did a great job at the Matzik household. We love it. So listen and call Eric this Saturday on WTMJ's Fix It Show and check out OutdoorLivingUnlimited.com.
Here's to time out on the water in Wisconsin. To living your best life while enjoying the lake life.
Ready?
and getting up on a wakeboard the very first try. Or not. Here's to wearing only swimsuits and wishing this perfect day would never end. Here's to those who Wisconsin. Start your summer getaway at travelwisconsin.com.
A Blaine's Farm and Fleet original story.
Why is everyone coming on their riding mowers and UTVs?
I figured all the neighbors could use a break from yard work, so I invited them for
a ride-on lawnmower movie?
Or, as I like to say, a movie.
We've got the value you need to do things your way, like a free Wild Bite fishing kit when you spend $50 on fishing gear. Save $30 on all Kurt towing hitches, and all Blazer trailer lighting is 25% off. Blaine's Farm and Fleet, being original.
WTMJ's Vince Vitrano here for Shopco Optical. Get eyewear for everything you do at Shopco Optical. Schedule your annual comprehensive eye exam, check out new frame styles, and order your annual supply of contact lenses, all in one place. Enjoy the time and attention your eyes deserve at Shopco Optical. Receive quality eye care and a personalized vision solution tailored to your specific vision and lifestyle needs. Call Shopco Optical or visit shopco.com to schedule an appointment at a location nearest you.
We chat so much during the breaks that sometimes we got to get back into the show mode. And here we are.
Here we are.
Happy
back
Thursday,
in show mode.
everybody.
All right,
Happy first day of the NFL draft.
We were talking about Democrats' strategy.
Mm-hmm.
David Hogg, young guy.
Do they have one?
Announcing that he's willing to, in his PAC or whatever, trying to spend $20 million primarying some of the, in his view, problematic Democrats, which is a conversation I think is, I am a big fan of big primaries and not just the safe seats and having people who get lazy in that seat. Out. Yes, I think it's a good strategy. There's probably some establishment folks that would not be happy with that, but whatever. Anyways, one strategy that I think coming out of the election that a lot of people saw as a miss was showing up in this very decentralized media landscape now of some of these very big podcasts. And one man who was walking into the lion's den again and again, and he was doing this even when he was transportation secretary. He would go on Fox all the time. But Pete Buttigieg is now doing the rounds, and he was on. Are you familiar with Andrew Schultz?
Yeah.
So you know who he is?
Yeah.
Comedian.
Yeah.
So in the same world of Joe Rogan, and it's a comedy podcast called Flagrant.
Apparently, if you're a comedian, you have to have a podcast.
It's 3 hours long. I have never listened to it.
Way too long.
Yeah, I don't know. Who has time to listen to a 3-hour podcast?
Nobody. Even Rogan, I listened to the first half hour.
And so he goes on, because this is one of, I would say Schultz and some of those folks were kind of part of that manosphere protastic, reaching a demographic that largely voted for Donald Trump. So 56% of young men voted for Donald Trump this time. So Pete went on there, and there's a lot of clips getting shared right now, but one that he was explaining of what he wants to see as far as the daily life of a American resident.
Like, I want you to be able to get up in the morning, and the first thing you do is you commute to work, and by the way, if you're on EV, I want that to be affordable for you. Or if you're on public transit, not to get back into the subway situation, but I want you to have good public transit to get to where you're going. And then when you get to that job, I want you to be paid well. And if you're about to have a kid, I want you to know that you're going to have parental leave when you have that kid. And if you don't want to have a kid, I want you to have the right to choose whether to have a kid, which means access to birth control and abortion and those things that give you the freedom to decide on that. And if you already have a kid, when you pick them up at school, I want that school to be good, not having its funding slashed while they set fire to the Department of Education. And then when you get home, I want you to be in a neighborhood that is safe and where you can breathe the air, because we didn't let them get rid of the Clean Air Act. And you don't have to think for one moment about whether the air you breathe or the water you drink is clean and clear, which actually takes a lot, because it means the government has to constrain those actors that would make you unfree by polluting the air and polluting the water. And then when you go to bed, I want you to know that your family's going to be fine, even if it's family like mine, despite there being some Supreme Court justice who wants to obliterate your family because it doesn't match his interpretation of his religion. Like, that's the life I want everybody to be able to live.
Yeah, I think.
Is that unhinged?
He's just reading a laundry list of things Democrats want.
But who doesn't want that? Say anything on that list that you're like, don't want that.
Those are all great ideas. But there's no way that we can pay for all of those things.
But that is if the goal is if we can at least agree that these are good goals to have, then the conversations become how do we get there? But what on that list would you say like, that does not look like a world I want to live in?
Let me pick one out.
Okay.
Because he mentioned education. There's two pieces of that, and he mentioned both of them. I am not in favor of getting rid of the Department of Education. That's stupid.
Okay.
That's part of all this Doge nonsense. But the other part, Democrats and liberals like to say this all the time. We're cutting the amount of money we put into education. We don't really cut. We don't raise it as much as we used to.
We in Wisconsin.
Yes. But we don't cut. So that terminology has been used politically for decades, and it's stupid and wrong. People should stop doing it.
Isn't there an argument that if you're not keeping up with inflation, it is subsequently cutting?
Yeah. And you could make all kinds of arguments.
Because if things are getting more expensive and you're getting the same amount of money, it's just like you're a living wage compared to the cost of living.
You can make all kinds of arguments, including the fact that we are not giving public schools enough funding for special ed when private schools get more funding, like 90% versus like 23%.
Yes.
Those are real questions. So on the highest level, those are great goals. But I'm going to go back to what I said before. Saying you're going to do all this stuff, one, how are you going to pay for it? And two, there's a lot of Americans, and this is about winning elections, ultimately getting your policies put in place, right? You have to win elections first to even get to the policy part.
I understand, but if you're saying that this is the world that you're trying to create and the policies you want to instill to try to get to that, I don't understand anything that he said that unless, there's people who are still very against gay marriage and the fact that he and his husband have adopted 2 kids, and there's maybe some religious things like that. But for the most part, like this is what we talk about when most people want the same things. We want clean air. We want clean water. We want better schools. We want to be able to make enough money. Like these are shared values and goals that I think that we have. And so I think for Democrats to be running on those things is not them being unhinged liberals. I used air quotes for people who are not watching the YouTube stream.
Good use of air quotes. I'm not disagreeing with what you're telling me, but I think, again, it comes, how are you paying for this? And I'll go back to what I said before about the just getting rid of student loan debt. It's a great idea, but it's not reasonable to most Americans, which therefore you won't get elected.
Let's go back to when paid leave was on the budget for Evers in one of the last 2 budgets. It was like unemployment.
Yeah.
So basically, both the company is paying a tax, the individuals are paying a tax, and it goes into a fund that is used to pay for not just paid leave for parents, for new parents, but for any of us who have aging parents who you need to take time off to be able to take care of a sick loved one, where you need to be the primary caretaker for a certain amount of period of time. Because I think it was Midday News yesterday had someone on talking about what happens when your child gets cancer, but you can't use your disability from your work because you're not the one who is sick, right? And so this is a fund that everyone would pay into, that everyone can benefit from, because things happen to everyone, no matter what party you're part of.
I don't want to high level this, but again, these are all things that most Americans would say, that sounds reasonable. But you have to get to the elections and the cost before you get to the policy stuff. That's just the way it works. Democrats can't win national elections. They're not going to get any of these things.
So how do they win national elections? By talking like this?
They have to understand that if they're going to talk about each of these issues, and I'm not a big fan of the laundry list. Here's all the things I like.
You also didn't like how fast he was talking.
Yeah, take a breath. Take a breath, dude.
As 2 people who are fast talkers.
Yeah, we got to get to break here, but okay. I hear these things, and unless we fundamentally fix our system of government, and then we put going back to our earlier conversation, we have people that are actually functioning, their brains are still working, they're using common sense and logic and real data, not fake news and all the other stuff. I think we're not going to get to the stuff that I think most Americans think is important. And on the overarching concept of Democrats versus Republicans on issues, there's probably a lot more agreement than we realize.
I would totally agree.
But not if you pay attention to the campaign ads or you listen to some of the one-sided...
The loudest voices.
Exactly. Well said. Kristin, Brey, Steve Scaffidi. Point taken. Did you get the point? More next.
The proof is in the pudding. Advertisers that hire us stick with us for years and years because they trust us, because we always promptly respond to customer needs, and because bottom line, we get results. Go to Anderson-Smith.com's Our Clients page to see who trusts us. And check out a long list of real advertising success. Then hit the Contact Us button, email me, and I'll call you in short order. Because it's time we grew your business. Anderson-Smith.com. What's it going to cost to make it work? Wrong question. What you need to ask is, what do I have to do to make it work? What do I have to say so that I can truly set my business apart? That's why you call us. to make your ad budget give your message affordable repetition and to relay it in a powerful way to make sure folks remember your business first when their time of need arises. Go to Anderson-Smith.com, email me, and I'll call you ASAP because it's time we grew your business. Anderson-Smith.com.
AccuNet Mortgage is an equal housing lender. NMLS ID 255368.
This is Chief Homebuyer Helper Brian Wickert. One of our senior loan consultants recently helped their first-time homebuyer client win over 13 other offers. Of course, it was a team effort with their buyer's agent, and it centered around helping our clients understand what little difference there was to their monthly payment to offer over the asking price. And again, what little difference it would make to give the sellers peace of mind that they'd still buy even if the appraisal came in up to $20,000 short. But that's not all. Our consultant also texted and called the listing agent to reinforce how well qualified our buyers were and that they could, in fact, still close even if the appraisal came in low. Your AccuNet consultant will help you understand your options so you can decide how aggressive you want to be. Then we do everything possible to help you win. Don't let someone else end up sleeping in your dream home. Know your options and get your rock-solid guaranteed pre-approval by clicking on the blue button at AccuNet.com. That's ACCUNET.com.
Pain can make you feel like no matter what you try, it's not going to work. Or it can make you try any and everything. And most times that'll make you feel like you've been taken for a ride. It's hard to believe that there's a solution to your pain problem that works, is safe, and is actually affordable. But that's why most insurance plans pay for pain treatments from Rejuvenex, because they're FDA approved and they do work. Toradol and hyaluronic acid work together to substantially alleviate your pain. And we've seen patients experience pain relief for greater than 2 years after completing a series of treatments. Is it a one and done? No. But at as low as $65 per joint, it's an affordable alternative to surgery. And it's not an expensive cross your fingers and hope it works experiment. Especially for older pain sufferers, the pain treatment that Rejuvenex offers is worth trying, because the vast majority of patients who do live better lives in a lot less pain. Rejuvenex.com to request your free pain evaluation.
Steel, walk behind, zero turn, and stand on mowers are built to get the job done. Shop online or at your local Steel dealer. Steel, let's go mow.
Built Right, one location saves you money.
Gotta get to Built Right today.
All right, honoring those who dedicate their lives to keeping us safe, WTMJ is highlighting first responders who went above and beyond this past year through Steve Scaffidi's Salute to Service, presented by Waterstone Bank. I'll be here too, though, because we do have the show together.
Yes.
You can nominate your first responder now at WTMJ.com or on the WTMJ mobile app. The nomination period is open now through May 9th. Finalists are going to be recognized during Hero Week, May 19th through May 23rd. Steve wants to say something.
Thanks to Chief Milwaukee Fire Department Chief Aaron Lipsky for 2 nominations.
Oh,
nice. Yesterday. So, yeah, keep them coming in. You don't have to be a chief. Anyone who has a story about a great first responder that's somehow changed your life, impacted your life, saved your life, I'd love to hear about it.
Absolutely. So help us tell your stories. WTMJ's Steve Scaffidi's Salute to Service, presented by Waterstone Bank.
Thanks to the great partners at Waterstone Bank. All right, here's a number that is why all of this conversation in the first hour is relevant. 56% of young men voted for Trump in the 2024 election.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a good number for Democrats because that's not how it used to be.
No, not at all. I mean, that wasn't even how it was in 2020.
Yeah, so Pete Buttigieg is onto something here, and Democrats have to understand that.
Well, you have to be everywhere.
Yes.
This is the thing. There's only a certain demographic that watches the cable news shows or the Sunday shows.
Yeah, or watches TV at all.
And it's a certain age group that is not Gen Z or even necessarily millennials.
Hence the decision to go on these big mega podcasts.
Yeah, which is smart.
They should come on the You Need to Listen podcast.
I mean, that's one of the biggest criticisms. Kamala Harris should have gone on Joe Rogan.
Yes.
They should have made that a priority.
I'm just started to look at some of the back and have you seen some of the back and forth on that conversation to get her to like come on? It's sort of fascinating.
As far as like the logistics?
Yeah, just the mental logistics.
Because they wanted him to travel and he refused to, right?
Yeah.
That was the big thing. Is like they said they couldn't work it out on her schedule to get to Austin.
We have to take a quick break because I want to get to something else that I'm Robin Voss, if you're listening, listen to the next segment. Joe Rogan's head size to his body size, they're almost at a 50-50 ratio now. What is going on with that? How is that even possible?
You know, he's little.
He's like 5'6". Yeah, 5'5".
I don't think he's quite as short as Kevin Hart, but Bill Burr always gives him crap about it. It's pretty funny.
Google a picture of him. His head and his torso are like the same size now. What is going on with this?
Are we making fun of people's appearances now on this show?
I actually like Joe Rogan. I listen to his podcast.
The first half hour, at least.
All right. So the insanity of the Wisconsin state budgets. Oh, my God. That's next.
Who doesn't need a seasonal wardrobe update? But who has the cash to always keep their wardrobe updated? Ladies, that's why you shop St. Vincent de Paul. Our women's clothing is always a highlight of our stores, and thrift store prices keep the costs low. It allows you to experiment and also find a hidden gem. St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores on Highway 100 in Layton and Greenfield, 23rd in Lincoln, and 76th and Bradley Road in Milwaukee.
You're gonna love it, St. Vincent de Paul.
Do you know the secret to losing up to 1 pound of fat every day? At Milwaukee Weight Loss, we know the secret. Our doctor-developed, easy-to-follow weight loss program helps you lose weight fast, naturally and safely, and with no drugs or injections with risk of serious side effects, no prepackaged meals, bars, shakes, and no exercising required. Our program helps reset your metabolism so you can keep the weight off for good with a coach for ongoing support. Our program costs up to half as much and works up to twice as fast as most other programs. Go to MilwaukeeWeightLoss.com to schedule your free consultation.
Hey, it's Steve Scaffidi. I've been on this weight loss journey for about 10 weeks now, currently in the maintenance phase. Hit my goal, 35 pounds. Reached my weight loss goal easy, fast, safely. And I'm going to continue working with a wonderful team at Milwaukee Weight Loss.
Many patients lose 20 to 30 pounds in about a month or two. That's up to a pound per day. Schedule your free consultation by calling 262-449-1180 or online at MilwaukeeWeightLoss.com. That's MilwaukeeWeightLoss.com. Results may vary.
Hi, this is Julie Coombs and Cindy Storm Fisher with Storm Fisher Investment Group. Are you a retiring professional worried about the direction of our economy, about making your money last? Come see what we can do for you. Let us show you how we take care of you to help you have a great retirement. We are at 262-796-8400 or stormfisher.com. See you soon.
Securities offered through Osaic Wealth Inc. Member FINRA SIPC. Advisory services offered through Osaic Advisory Services LLC. Osaic Advisory. Osaic Wealth and Osaic Advisory are separately owned, and other entities and/or marketing names, products, and services referenced here are independent of Osaic Wealth and Osaic Advisory.
Feeling thrifty? Wisconsin State Fair's got you covered. It's the last week for $14 admission tickets. Plus, discounted cream puffs sweeten the deal. With a sale this good, you'll be feeling good at the Wisconsin State Fair. Presented by U.S. Cellular, July 31st to August 10th.
WTMJ's Eric Bilstead here for Tri-County Contracting. We talk all the time about Tri-County Contracting, the place to go for roofs and siding, but don't forget, Tri-County Contracting also does windows. Need a new front entry door? Tri-County Contracting, or maybe a patio door that's always jammed. Get your free estimates today. They've been helping homeowners like you for 46 years. Tri-County Contracting, WI.com. It's worry-free roofing, siding, and windows. Tri-County Contracting, WI.com.
WTMJ, W277CV, and WKTI HD2 Milwaukee from the Annex Wealth Management Studios. This is News Radio WTMJ, a Good Karma brand station.
Oh, you're listening to the best pair on the air. Woo! Kristin, Brey, Steve Scaffidi. Point taken, PC, as I like to call it. All right. Every once in a while, I read something that I'm like, are you serious? And this, unfortunately, because I like Robin Voss. He's been on the show many times, and I call him a friend. He still sends me popcorn at Christmas. So
I thought he sold that company.
No, I don't think so.
I thought someone said he sold the popcorn.
Well, I'm still getting popcorn at Christmas,
all right.
Thank you, Robin Voss. Here's the headline. Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel, and I always want to give credit to Molly Beck because she's a great writer. She's an outstanding person, too. Republicans scour for options to sidestep Tony Evers' vetoes. We know they just lost that case from the Wisconsin Supreme Court, so the governor has power, including not using digits in the budget.
How do you write a budget without numbers?
This is what drives me nuts about this is why I say politics is nonsense. I understand you're mad that you lost that decision in the Wisconsin Supreme Court. I understand you're mad you don't control the governor's office. Well, vote. Elections have consequences. You lost that one, and you've lost a lot of elections in Wisconsin. But your job is to pass a budget, last time I checked. And if you don't pass one, it reverts to the last budget. I get all that stuff. But stop using gimmicks. It's the same thing as the lame-o thing you did with keeping the guy at the DNR on the commission forever after he was already off. Don't do... I almost swore there. Oh, I self-edited. Good job, me. Stop doing this. This is what gives politicians, governments, elected officials a bad name. Robin, I like you. Don't do this stuff. It makes you look stupid.
Don't do this. So he was talking about this on one of the other right-wing talk radio stations. And do you think he did it to get a reaction? Because there's no way you can write a budget without numbers. But the quote was this, quote, if the court says you can strike digits and numbers, well, now we'll have to not use digits and numbers. And the best thing about technology and AI is that, in the push of a button, it can be done.
Here's the funny thing about common sense and logic. Budgets are about numbers.
So do you just spell out every number then? Instead of using the actual numeral?
So we're going to play stupid games instead of actually, even though you don't like each other, or you don't like the administration and the people that work for this administration or the party that they represent, you're going to play games versus just doing your damn job.
Or just having conversations and compromising as far as being in contact with the governor's office on what he would or would not sign.
So when people say, Steve, why are you so mad at the Republicans? And I'd say I vote for Republicans almost all my life and still do.
I actually asked you this morning if you ever voted for a Democrat, and you're like, maybe one.
Maybe one. But this is the stuff that drives me nuts. I refuse to go along with this stuff. I understand power corrupts. I get it. I've seen it.
But I think even more importantly is, as we're talking, we've mentioned it on this show multiple times, like there needs to be real conversations happening of what's going to happen if federal dollars for certain programs go away. Are we just going to let those programs in general go away? Are we going to have any responsibility whatsoever at the state level to try to help those people who will suffer because of that?
Absolutely brilliant point. You know why? Because all those people it affects, they're also Republicans. They voted for Trump. They voted for Robin Vos.
I mean, not only that, I saw something the other day as far as the federal dollars and the funding that goes towards red counties versus blue counties across the country. And it's not unlike which states get more federal dollars, and they're all red.
It's just the silliness of politics. That's why I want to close with this. Robin Vos, friend Robin Vos, this is for you.
When we're out in your town, come say hi as we broadcast live from the Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin mobile studio.
Anytime you hear us when we're on the road, you can find us live from our brand new mobile studio.
Whether it be Summerfest, EAA, Opening Day, Air and Water Show, wherever we may be.
You can see us on the radio, live from the Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin mobile studio.
We are Wisconsin's radio station.
We are Wisconsin's radio station.
We are Wisconsin's radio station.
News Radio 620 WTMJ.
When a crane collapsed during construction of a Major League sports stadium, 3 workers lost their lives. Their widows called us. When maintenance workers were permanently injured by an industrial accident at a public utilities power plant, the 7 injured workers called us. When a factory exploded, injuring dozens of workers, 18 victims, including all 3 families of men who lost their lives, called us. Because Wisconsinites know who to call when it's a must-win scenario. They call Habish, Habish & Rotier. National reputation, hometown service.
Bev Anderson has a big idea she wants to share.
Bev has been here for 24 years.
Hi, Bev. We're anxious to hear your idea.
Kessler's is 45 years old this year. Monica, remember when your dad used to say in every radio ad, "I'm Richard Kessler, and I want to be your jeweler"?
I never got to hear that.
Yeah, and then Rick would say,
Kessler's Diamonds, inconveniently located on Appleton Avenue, Menominee Falls.
Inconveniently?
Richard said it was inconvenient for people to have to drive all the way to Menominee Falls, so he might as well admit it.
Bev, tell us your idea.
Richard said something else in almost every ad, and I think we should start saying it again because it's really important.
Tell us.
We do diamonds better because diamonds are what we do.
I love that.
Fantastic idea, Bev.
Kessler's Diamonds.
We do diamonds better because diamonds are what we do.
For the location nearest you, visit KesslersDiamonds.com.
If the amazing regenerative treatments at QC Kinetics provided relief for former pro football player Bobby Carpenter, imagine the potential for your aching joints.
So my knee had been bothering me for a while. I'd played football for a number of years. I looked at talking to some doctors when I need to potentially have surgery, and I decided, hey, let's check out QC Kinetics. I go in there, and they look at the knee. Hey, here's the program that we can put you through.
That treatment takes your body's own healing properties and concentrates them at the root of the pain. No surgery or downtime.
The best part was there's no recovery until one day I felt like, hey, this feels like my old self again. I feel better. It's helped me. It's helped my dad. Hopefully it will help you in the same way. My message to them is do not wait. So you can go out and play golf and do the things that you love and enjoy.
Take it from Bobby Carpenter. Call QC Kinetics now for your free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 414-285-3474. That's 414-285-3474. 414-285-3474.
Time for the Brewers to strike that ball right into the bay.
Fly ball, center field, deep, back at the track, gone! Christian Yelich, a grand slam!
Our coverage against the Giants starts today at 2:10 on your home for the Milwaukee Brewers. 620 WTMJ, Milwaukee.
At 11 o'clock, it's 52 degrees. Today, partly cloudy with a slight chance of rain to the north, a high of 68. From the WTMJ Breaking News Center, I'm Tiff Pua. Green Bay's watershed moment has arrived as thousands of fans flock to Titletown tonight for night one of the NFL Draft. Packers president and CEO Mark Murphy tells WTMJ he credits the city landing the draft to a major development just north of Lambeau Field.
There were some times where we wondered whether it would ever really come to fruition. But what's really helped us was the development of Titletown and then the Rush Expo. I think without those two, it was a tougher sell.
Mayor Eric Genrich tells WTMJ's Wisconsin's Morning News the city and the Packers have worked in conjunction to plan the event for a decade.
There's been a lot of anticipation, some anxiety in pulling together all the pieces, a multi-year effort really going back all the way to 2015, I think, when Aaron Popke and Brad Toll recognized the fact that this event was going outside of New York and, maybe there was a chance that we'd be able to land it.
Our draft coverage begins tonight at 6 o'clock right here on WTMJ. Another day, another attempt to remove the abandoned boat beached at Milwaukee's lakefront. Deep Thought has been stuck in the sand south of Bradford Beach for over 6 months, and crews are back on the scene today working to pull the boat away. Owner of Jerry's Silo Marina, Jerry Geyer, tells Wisconsin's Morning News the sand and water inside the boat has increased its weight to nearly 20,000 pounds.
We have to create a lake around it that's deep enough to float it. We're thinking of putting 3 pontoon boats and lash it down so that they will help to take some of that weight to make the boat float safe enough to tow it out of there.
An anonymous donor has promised to pay the cost of removing the boat from the beach. A woman accused of shooting and killing a prominent Milwaukee dental surgeon is now in police custody. Kiana McGowan is charged with second-degree reckless homicide in the death of 41-year-old Akatunde Bowden Saturday at the Tudor Park condominiums on Park Plaza Court. According to the criminal complaint, McGowan told police she was in her apartment when she heard banging on the door and saw a man that McGowan said appeared to be intoxicated. She claimed the man kicked her door, and then she got her gun and fired a single shot. McGowan is now in custody. President Trump has offered rare criticism of Russian President Putin.
In a post on Truth Social, President Trump wrote, quote, "I am not happy with the Russian strikes on Kyiv. Not necessary and very bad timing." The post goes on to say, "Vladimir, stop. 5,000 soldiers a week are dying. Let's get the peace deal done." This criticism follows a Russian airstrike against Ukraine that killed at least 9 civilians and injured more than 70. The attack happened even as the president criticized Ukraine's President Zelensky, saying it was tougher to reach a peace deal with him than it was with President Putin. Linda Kenyon, CBS News, the White House.
The Vatican keeps St. Peter's open all night for the public viewing of Pope Francis after strong turnout. The last numbers released by the Vatican say that more than 50,000 people have paid their respects in the first 12 hours of public viewing of the late pontiff. Pope Francis died Monday after a cerebral stroke and heart failure. His funeral is set for Saturday. Time for news about your money. Here's your WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. Today, everything in the green. Your Dow is up 258 points to 39,865. The S&P 500 is up 69 points to 5,445. And your NASDAQ is up 302 points to 17,010. Financial planning at every level. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite. Details at annexwealth.com. Sports, traffic, and weather are next. Outdoor Living Unlimited WTMJ News Time is 11:04.
The pulse of the Milwaukee Bucks, straight from a Bucks legend.
Can't get it off. Marcus Johnson will, though. Can't leave him alone for a 12.
Tap into Here District with Marcus Johnson on Bucks Plus. Marcus and his son Chris offer a weekly beat on Bucks basketball. Get your questions answered and hear from the biggest names in basketball. Find Here District with Marcus Johnson at bucks.com/plus on the Bucks app or wherever you get your podcasts.
A buck doesn't buy much unless you're spending it at Griffin.
For just $1 over cost, you can buy brand new tires from us. This is Jim Griffin. Any major brand, $1 over our cost with free tire repair and lifetime rotation. We'll even show you the invoice to prove it. Our only requirements, we put them on for you. Buy one or the whole set. The dollar deal from Griffin. Milwaukee, Waukesha, Fort Atkinson, and Jefferson. Griffin, the buck stops here. The deals on tires don't. That's Griffin.
Not combinable with other tire offers.
Okay, who's ready to fish? Fleet Farm's all stocked and ready to go with the hottest brands to help you gear up for the season. Like the latest lines and lures from Berkley, Fluger rods and reels, Northland tackle, bobbers, and bait, all sorts of Senko worms, the best in fish finders from Humminbird, Lowrance, and Garmin, St. Croix rods, new releases from Abu Garcia, and more. Stop in and check out the latest fishing gear from all your favorite brands at the best prices guaranteed at Fleet Farm.
CertaPro Painters, transform my house. WTMJ's John Mercure here. It's absolutely beautiful. The pros came out to our house, sat down with my wife Michelle and me, weren't sure what color we wanted. They were able to walk us through specific colors for our house and for our neighborhood. That's just how they roll. For your home or business, it's CertaPro. Schedule your free estimate at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C. Call right now and ask about their spring sales event going on now through May 15th. They are quite simply absolutely the best. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated.
Time for a WTMJ Sports Update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call, That's All Sports Desk. Round 1 of the NFL Draft takes place tonight, and several top prospects are in Green Bay waiting to hear their name called in Round 1. The Packers own 8 picks, including number 23 overall in the first round. Coverage of the draft begins at 6 o'clock tonight right here on WTMJ after our coverage of the Brewers and Giants. And speaking of the Brewers, they're looking to split the series after a 4-2 loss Wednesday night. Our coverage begins at 2:10 right here on WTMJ. And according to ESPN insider Shams Charania, the Milwaukee Bucks and general manager John Horst have reached a multi-year contract extension. Taking a look at your roads with your WTMJ Time Saver traffic, just one incident to report. 94 north, about a mile beyond the ramp from Ryan Road. There are slowdowns because of a disabled vehicle. Now, it is out of traffic, and we can see the police out there. It's just traffic is moving smoothly through that area. Give them a little bit of space. Here's your WTMJ 5-day forecast today. Mostly cloudy with hit or miss showers, a high of 70. Tonight, mostly cloudy with an isolated shower, a low of 47. For your Friday, mostly cloudy with rain likely, a high of 60. Saturday, partly cloudy with a high of 58. And for your Sunday, partly cloudy with a high of 65. Right now in Madison, it's 68. In Waukesha, it's 63. If you're heading to the draft, it's 55. And if you're in Milwaukee, mostly cloudy and 52 degrees. I'm Tiff Bua, Outdoor Living Unlimited. WTMJ News Time is coming up on 11:08.
Broadcasting live from the Annex Wealth Management Studios at the Avenue. It's time for Point Taken. Here are your hosts, Steve Scaffidi and Kristin Brey.
All right, hour number 2, 11 o'clock. Point taken. Steve, where are we going next?
We're going to be talking about tax hikes for millionaires, right?
We can talk about that. We can talk about the tariffs and...
Let me give you a tariff thing.
Okay.
So somebody asked me the other day, why are you talking about tariffs so much? Because one, I don't think the president understands tariffs, although he's certainly had drastic impact on our economy and our markets with his actions. You know, China this and Canada this and 51st state and you're paying this and whatever. And I want to keep this fresh in people's minds because there's a distinct marker timeline of what happened when the president started talking about tariffs and what happened to our economy price-wise, not across the board, but a lot of things have cost more money. Dollar's been impacted. The markets have suffered. Those people who are closer to retirement or in retirement have felt that pain. If you're younger, it's on paper, which is a good thing because my friend Dave Spano from Annex Wealth Management will tell us over time, it always heals itself. It always comes back, and it gives you a nice return, which is a smart play for everybody.
Like
always
Wolverine.
has been.
It's like the Wolverine.
Like Wolverine.
He heals himself.
He does heal himself. Good reference. I didn't think about that. So I want people to understand that this is important. And I think if we're going to look at these things in a real non-political way, these actions have consequences. And I want people to understand that this is what's happening every day. So if you're a Trump voter, and I know Trump voters. I have them in my family. I have them in my neighborhood. I have them in my golf circle.
I was going to say your golf circle.
Everybody. And that's cool. You voted for the person you wanted to win. You didn't like Kamala Harris. You voted for Donald Trump. No problem. But understand, this is his problem now. He owns this. It's not Joe Biden's economy anymore because when Joe Biden had the markets, they were at 45,000. Last time I checked, they're about 39 something. That's on Donald Trump, and his lack of understanding, lack of awareness on tariffs matters to all of us, not just oldies like me, but young people as well. You want to do well. And what do I hear from young people all the time? We can't even afford this stuff. You think it's going to get better with this nonsense where manufacturers are cutting back, plants are closing, people are being laid off, interest rates could rise. I just saw yesterday, banner on one of the monitors, more credit card debt, late payments than we've seen in a long time.
I think ever. I think the credit card debt is the highest it's ever been right now.
Not good trends. So Donald Trump owns this.
And now you can put your DoorDash on if you need to pay for your burrito. You can also put that on credit now. Thanks, Klarna.
Let the record show I've had DoorDash delivered to me, but I've never ordered it. Thank you, my lovely daughters.
Why is that a bragging point?
Because I just never have. I don't need to order DoorDash. Can I ask you a stupid question before we get to the serious stuff? Because I know we want to talk about billionaires and tax cuts, all that stuff. And I'm raising my hand, proud supporter of the 2017 tax cut, by the way, so you know that going in. Fast food DoorDash. How fast can they get that where like a French fry from whatever great place makes the French fry is still going to be decent when you get it? Like, how fast does that transaction happen?
I mean, why is that different than any other kind of pickup food or delivery food?
Because you're eating it in the car. I'm eating that thing right away. I'm not waiting until I get home.
Oh, okay.
No. I don't eat fast food.
You just don't do delivery?
No.
Pizza delivery?
I'll go pick it up.
Okay.
Yeah. Always pick it up.
But it's still the commute to get it home. Are you eating your pizza in the car?
Here's something you don't know about me. My pizza place is 1 block from my house.
So why do you should walk? You should get the.
I
you
should.
You should do that, and then you work off that the caloric intake from the pizza.
Full disclosure, because they have a bar, I probably have walked it on some occasions. Too much Steve today. Maybe hashtag less Steve. What do you think?
All right. Any other thoughts on?
No, I'm going to keep it fresh because this is Donald Trump's economy now.
I also just think the geopolitical ramifications, because when I was driving in this morning, I was listening to Vince and Eric, because it seems like there's conflicting reports right now as far as what the conversation has been with China. The Trump administration saying that the conversation has started, and China coming out and saying it has not. So right.
So someone's lying.
What did we start that we may not be able to finish as far as pissing off China, who's been preparing for this since Trump's first administration and first term of preparing of what a world for them looks like without United States being a major trading partner? And can we hold out as long as they can?
I think you made this point last time we talked about China, right? They've been around for like 5,000 years. We got 250 almost. Not the same thing. They can ride it out. They'll ride the storm out as REL Speedwagon. Does that sound right? Whoever that was. They can ride out anything. They're not going to put up with Trump's nonsense in any form. Neither is Vladimir Putin, for that matter, because in Trump, now he's calling him out. That's not going to do anything to these guys. They don't care about Donald Trump. One of them might own him, and the other one might also. So this stuff matters, people. And this is a Republican saying it. So listen, you can vote for Donald Trump if you want to, but understand these things have consequences. Continue.
No, that was always good. I think watching, I mean, there's obviously our economy, but I also just think as like a competing power in the world, because wasn't it Tom Barrett recently was on somewhere. I forgot who he was.
My podcast.
Well, yeah, but he was recently interviewed. He goes, listen, China would love nothing more than to close the embassy in Luxembourg. And so the more that we pull out USAID, the more that we close embassies in certain parts of the world and have less soft power throughout the world and let China make up for that, it shifts the geopolitical power in the world.
I'm going to make a point that I make almost every day and save the text because I don't care. Because they say, you make this point every day. Why do you try? When you look at things at a superficial level, because they sound good, they're good political talking points, they sound good in campaigns.
They own the libs.
Like that one, yeah. It's, people make a lot of money saying that crap. I almost said edit myself again.
You're feisty today.
Feisty, not sassy, but feisty. But that when you do it at the superficial level, you don't have the detail to back it up. You don't have the data, the analytics, the research, the history. Donald Trump hasn't read a history book. I don't know if Donald Trump has read a book back to front in his life, to be honest. Even books he wrote, supposedly, air quoting, wrote. No. And I if you think I'm being mean to Donald Trump, he's the president of the United States. I give him credit for that. Again, I've supported him on some of the things he's done. But on this stuff, he just looks stupid. And it's showing up in our checking accounts, in our grocery
401ks.
baskets, 401ks, new car purchases, maybe our jobs, maybe if you're laid off or your checks from work, your direct deposits. It's showing up. And I guess what's the answer? All those own the libbers out there. And I know there's a lot of you. What's the answer? What are you coming back with? This is Donald Trump's economy, going back to the point I made before.
All right. Similar but different when we come back. Conversations happening with the GOP in Washington on what to do with the extension of the 2017 tax law, because there are some in the inner circle that would like to raise taxes on a certain demographic. Which infighting. Yeah, infighting. So we're going to talk about that and if it would ever actually happen after this on Point Taken.
Want to stay up to date with the crew?
Caleb Durbin beats it out. It's an infield single in his first major league at bat.
Tune in to Brewers Extra Innings with Dominic Cotroneo after every game.
Maybe Caleb Durbin's the guy that is that spark plug. I love that comp, that David Eckstein comp. I mean, quite frankly, he could bench press David Eckstein. Got that upper body build. He swings hard, pulls the ball.
Or listen anytime on the Brewers All Access podcast feed. We are your home of the Brewers. WTMJ.
Hey, this is WTMJ Steve for Advent. Snoring, tossing, turning, restless nights of sleep. Not for me. Hopefully not for you. But if you're having those issues and you're waking up a lot more than you probably realize or bothering your sleep partner, first of all, bad on you. But don't do that. Go to Advent like I did years ago, 5 years ago now. 30-minute visit, answer my questions, put me at ease. We did a really simple sleep study at home in my own bed. They determined my problem, very common problem. Now everyone's different problems, different solutions. Mine was sinuses and nasal passages. Breathing triangle is what they call it. After a short procedure in one of their offices, breathing better than ever, sleeping through the whole night. Ask Kathy if you see her around town. If you struggle like I used to, take the time to see how Advent can help you. To find out breathing well and sleeping well can make your nights better, go to AdventKnows.com. AdventKnows.com. Schedule an appointment today. Don't wait. Why? Because I'll tell you this. Because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better.
Escape the city and relax at Lake Lawn Resort in beautiful Delavan, Wisconsin. Enjoy outdoor activities on Delavan Lake, tee off at the Lakeside Majestic Oaks Golf Course, or unwind at the award-winning Caladora Spa. With both indoor and outdoor pools, there's fun for the whole family. Take a cruise on the Lake Lawn Queen, explore stunning shores and historic landmarks, and enjoy delicious food and drinks on board. Book your stay today at LakeLawnResort.com, where everything is better at the lake.
All right. Are you ready? Are you ready to join us? A day dedicated to you, the WTMJ listener. You can come celebrate WTMJ Day with us, your favorite WTMJ hosts, at a private tailgate at the Brewers game on Saturday, May 17th. We're going to have food and drinks, and you're going to hang out with all of us. I think all of us are coming. Right?
I'm going to be there.
You're going to be there. I think all the hosts are going to be there.
I'm actually a batch that weekend because my wife's going to Vegas with my
and
daughter.
you're the only person I've ever met that shortens bachelor to batch. It's like a batch of cookies.
Does that bother you?
Kind of, because it doesn't make any sense. All right, plus,
whatever.
We're going to have tickets to the Brewers game as they take on the Twins at AmFam Field. Get more information and secure your tickets at WTMJ.com. Tickets will go fast, so sign up today. We're going to see you at the ballpark for WTMJ Day, Saturday, May 17th, sponsored by Woodman's.
Woodman's. Oh, you were waiting for me to say? I thought you were
that's
just
why
pointing
I pointed at you.
I didn't know you were waiting for me to say it.
Woodman's.
I love Woodman's. I've met Phil Woodman.
What's he like?
Nice guy. Yeah.
Where would you rate?
Down to earth.
What's Phil Woodman like versus Culver's? What's Culver's first name? John? No.
Is it Tim? I don't know the Culvers well. So, no, Phil.
Craig Culver.
Craig Culver, yeah. He's fun to work with. We did a lot of work, obviously, because Drexel Town Square is located right next to the Woodman's at Oak Creek. But my wife loves Woodman's. She does all the shopping because I don't shop. Did you know that?
That was so you're the guy. You're the guy that Jesse Waters was talking about when he goes, Who goes grocery shopping with their wife? Apparently not Steve Scaffidi.
No, I don't like to shop. I just don't. Everything my wife Kathy doesn't like to go shopping with me because I complain about everything. Like when people put their carts too close to me, like why is your cart right next to me when I'm standing here?
Because sometimes the aisles are narrow.
Yeah.
You'd hate a Trader Joe's. Very narrow aisles.
Yeah, not a fan.
All right. All right.
Thanks to Woodman's, though. Awesome company. Employee owned. How about that?
Are you done?
Yeah, sorry.
Okay.
All wound up.
So I found this really interesting because I am probably not surprising to anyone on the side of taxing the rich. If you've listened to our podcast, what episode was that? Episode 3?
3, I think. Billionaires are bad, I think.
I'm a big fan of, after you've made $1 billion, at that point, that tax bracket, that all gets taxed. Because the amount of things that we could solve if we taxed billionaires at a higher rate, I would say there's a lot more that we could actually pay for.
One, it doesn't solve it. It helps solve
Anyways.
You just anyways.
Democrats usually are the party that says tax the rich. But now, because of the populist contingent of this new MAGA movement, there is a part of Donald Trump's advisors they're very split on hiking taxes for millionaires. So obviously, there's a conversation happening right now with the budget and the math that the GOP has to figure out in order to extend the 2017 tax law, which could add more than $4 trillion of new tax cuts and surge, as the national debt surges. So there are some people, Vice President J.D. Vance being one of them, Budget Director Russell Vought, Steve Bannon has been a big fan of this, largely just as a way to own the libs and take it as a defanging of the Democratic attack. But then there's obviously people like Larry Kudlow, Ted Cruz, Mike Johnson, a lot of people who don't want to raise taxes at all. Do you think this would ever happen? Do you think there's ever a world where GOP raises taxes on millionaires instead of cutting it more?
Well, it would be Congress, but not just the GOP, but GOP.
Well, I mean, they
GOP
have the majority
Congress
right now.
Yeah.
So in this budget cycle, you think that's an actual ploy or play for them in order to pay for this budget that they want to pass?
They're going to have to come up with some solutions on this stuff. I mean, money's got to come from somewhere, right?
How mad do you think for a lot of the people who are millionaires in this country?
There's 800 in the United States.
That's billionaires.
Billionaires.
I'm talking about millionaires. This is for...
We can find millionaires.
I actually have it. Fewer than 0.1% of Americans, or roughly 150,000 returns, earn more than $2.6 million, and this was in 2020. Not a lot of them. It's a lot of money, though.
It's not going to fix
Can you imagine making $20 million in a year?
I'd like to.
I mean, I would like to, too. But if I made that money, I can tell you right now, I would be fine paying more taxes. Because that's a lot of money.
So you probably didn't listen to me when I started this show 8 years ago, whatever version.
I wasn't even living
the
here.
fifth version ago of this show. I've said forever, this might hurt some people's feelings. I don't care if you make 10 grand or 20 grand or 100 grand or $1 million. Everyone has to pay something at the end of the tax period. Could be $10 for someone that makes almost nothing. Could be $1 million for someone that makes $1 billion. Everybody has stake in the game. We've gotten to the system. I think it's 40.
And you speaking specifically for income taxes.
Yes, income
because
tax.
everyone pays taxes in some way, whether it's sales tax or
that's often
Social
the argument
Security
made.
and Medicare, and so everyone pays. If you have a job, you're paying taxes.
Yeah, that's the argument made why we should allow. I think 53% of our population now not pay income tax. How is that sustainable? You wonder why we have.
Is that really true?
I think so. Yeah, I think 47% of our population pays all the income tax. That's not good. Because we sort of made all these rules. The tax code is like,
Well, the tax code is ridiculous as far as just simplifying that as a first step that we won't. But
so my thing has always been, I called it fair share, which has been used for 1 billion different political conversations and organizational things. Everybody pays their fair share. And we have to get back to some sort of net neutral, as close as we can get, to budgets that actually make sense. And we cannot continue, and I know there's people disagree on this, to explode our deficit, whether it's $36 trillion now or $40 trillion after the renewal of the 2017 tax, because it's just not sustainable over time. Because our kids and their kids and their kids are going to suffer horrendously because of those decisions, even though we might not. That's not good. That's what I'm passionate about.
What about the decision? Do you think people are changing their minds about moving to Florida because of incremental costs?
I'll hold my.
Hold it. All right. We're talking about that next. As far as after a boom in population, maybe the tides are turning for Florida specifically. So we'll talk about that after this on Point Taken.
For those with a warm weather fashion, try St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores, because that's where you'll find a vast array of men's, women's, girls, and boys' warm weather apparel at the friendliest prices. So many choices, and at such a value. You can fill the closet without draining your wallet. Shop warm weather fashions at St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores on Highway 100 in Layton and Greenfield, 23rd in Lincoln, and 76th and Bradley Road in Milwaukee.
You're gonna love it, St. Vincent de Paul.
Hey, this is WTMJ Steve Scaffidi. Loyalty and family, 2 words that really matter to me, probably to you as well. Few things are more important. We had bad storms last May in Oak Creek. A lot of the south side had it. Hail damage, yeah, we all had it really bad. But Jeff, Jake, and the crew, the whole team, absolute pros at Loyal Family Renovations, made the process as smooth as possible. They worked with my insurance company. We got on the phone together right on my patio in my backyard, all talking together at the same time, got me the most value, handled all the questions. We asked our questions. Jeff was jumping in with his questions, and our insurance adjuster was asking theirs. Quick answers, top-notch customer service. All this happened in 2 days. My roof was done, clean, looks fantastic. They even had a tool to pick up all the nails that fell off the roof because that's something that happens when you put a new roof on. And we had an old roof, 20-plus years old. I was so impressed, I told the whole neighborhood, and I'm telling you right now, if storm damage hits, we just had hail the other day. Call the team that made it easy for me, Loyal Family Renovations. Visit loyalfamilyrenovations.com.
The Midwest's best baseball and softball training facility and retail center is here in New Berlin, and it's ready for you and your team. From little leaguers to hardcore players and trainers, this is the place you'll want to be.
You can't beat Bernhardt.
It's Debbie Lazaga, and I'm so excited because I've chosen Kohler Services to transform my old bathtub into a beautiful new Luxstone shower this month. Kohler Services makes it so easy. They came to my home, took measurements, and answered all of my questions. I was able to feel the crushed stone wall material and design my custom shower. I can't wait for my installation. You can request your free quote for a custom Kohler Luxstone shower by visiting KohlerServicesWI.com. That's KohlerServicesWI.com.
Steel walk behind, zero turn, and stand on mowers are built to get the job done. Shop online or at your local Steel dealer. Steel, let's go mow.
The most common reason pain sufferers come to us is to be able to perform their daily tasks without suffering through them. Grandparents who want to be able to take their grandkids on walks and to the park. Or those that just want to be able to get out of their vehicle with more ease than pain. Rejuvenex pain treatments can help, and the sooner you get to calming down that pain, the better it will be. These are powerful, FDA-approved pain treatments precisely administered with an extremely small needle to get to the root of your pain. And before you know it, you'll feel the anti-inflammatory power of Toradol and the cushioning relief of hyaluronic acid. Positive patient results are regularities, not rarities. And we do this conveniently in office, so it's very easy for you. And we're in network with most insurance plans, including Medicare and Medicaid, which could mean zero out-of-pocket costs for your pain relief treatment.
Alleviate your pain, rejuvenate your life.
Go to rejuvenex.com to request your free pain evaluation.
Hey, thanks for tuning in on this Thursday. I'm excited. I'm going to be driving up to Lambeau right after the show today. And so tomorrow, just give you some sort of behind the scenes. So Bill McCosh and Joseph Pecky are Friday guests. And my partner, whose name I just forgot, Kristin.
I know what we were also going to talk about. We were talking about Florida, but go ahead.
Yeah, we'll get to Florida after the break. Is that okay?
Yeah, go.
See how I asked? Isn't that nice of me? I'm going to be driving up to Lambeau. So I'm going to be up there tomorrow because I'm doing 4 hours of local ESPN coverage of the draft day 2 tomorrow night. So I'm going to be calling in. So first hour, I'm just going to chime in a question because you're going to have to run the show because I don't even know where I'm going to be at. It could be.
It's not really running the show. It's conducting the two personalities in the room.
Because if you were here, you were here last week. We
were all pretty fiery last week.
which was good.
It is good.
And, I'm not dumb enough to not understand that people love the Friday show. Bill and Joe are the origin story of what I used to do, and they're so good at it. But here's the lesson maybe before the break. It's an example of when decent, honorable people who have different ideas about politics can actually have an intelligent, in our case, 4-way conversation about this stuff and still like each other at the end of it. Not name call, and I see you texters for name calling. Stop doing that. I'm not a pompous, you-know-what. We have young ears in the room because it's take your kids to work day. I almost said it, too, and I apologize for something I didn't say. But it's like it's possible.
It is possible.
It's also possible to listen to a show and a station where it's not one-sided. This is my lecture. Jazz always looks at me when I give this lecture, and I've done it for years. I'm not sure what you get out of that. It's just head nodding and, yeah, they agree with me, own the libs, blah, blah. It's just the dumbest thing ever. Stop being dumb. Listen better. Be smarter. Get outside once in a while.
Touch grass?
Touch grass with bare feet. Take those clogs off
All
or
right.
whatever you're
well,
wearing.
now we don't have time to talk about Florida.
We'll get to Florida.
All right, we also got to talk about Social Security.
We do want to talk about Social
We only got a
Security.
half hour left of the show.
It goes so fast. Oh, goodness. Psych. All right. Oh, we got to walk it out. Yes. I'm so excited. She's Kristin Brey, by the way, if you don't know. We were talking about all your job titles the other day. You have a lot of job titles.
Radio host.
Former comedian. Former actress.
Columnist.
If you haven't checked her out in Journal Sentinel, this is some of the best writing I've seen in years on a really important topic, and I said well done yesterday. So we got local news coming up with our local news folks, and, of course, the latest now from ABC.
ABC News, I'm Chuck Sievertson. Robert Crimo was not in the courtroom today to hear the judge give him life in prison for the deadly Chicago area Highland Park July 4th parade mass shooting from 2022. A Russian air attack on Ukraine's capital, Kyiv, leaves at least 12 dead, at least 80 injured, says the head of Kyiv's military office. ABC News Chief Global Affairs anchor Martha Raddatz.
Lashing out on social media, Trump warning Zelensky can have peace or he can fight for another 3 years before losing the whole country. The man with no cards to play should now finally get it done. Ukrainian officials saying they are ready to negotiate, not surrender. But the White House is demanding this deal be final.
Pope Francis's coffin will be at ground level, not elevated, so that those gathering along Saturday's procession can see him more easily. Existing home sales went down for March, says the National Association of Realtors. This is ABC News.
Outdoor Living Unlimited WTMJ News Time is 11:31. I'm Tiff Pua. ICE agents make a third arrest at the Milwaukee County Courthouse. The Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel reports that 30-year-old Eduardo Flores Ruiz is in custody at Dodge Detention Facility. He appeared in court on Friday for a pre-trial conference on 3 misdemeanor counts of battery. Flores Ruiz is a Mexican immigrant, and his legal status is unclear. This is the third time in 2 months that federal immigration agents have come to the hallways of the courthouse with arrest warrants. A teacher is arrested for possessing child pornography. Appleton police received a tip from the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, revealing that Colin Killoran of Appleton is a primary suspect. Killoran was a teacher at St. Ignatius Catholic School in Kaukauna, but there's no evidence that any children from the school were harmed. And college leaders unite to criticize the Trump administration's policies. Hundreds of universities have signed a letter from the American Association of Colleges and Universities. It decries, quote, unprecedented government overreach in areas of academic freedom, hiring, and student conduct. From Wisconsin, UW-Madison Chancellor Jennifer Mnuchin, Beloit College President Eric Boynton, and Edgewood College President Andrew Mannion have signed. President Trump's executive order deadline for America's schools to wipe out diversity, equity, and inclusion programs is at the end of business today. Time for news about your money. Here's your WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. Everything's still in the green on the board. Your Dow is up 377 points to 39,985. Your S&P 500 is up 88 points to 5,464. And the NASDAQ is up 362 points to 17,069. Financial planning at every level. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, and Annex Ignite. Details at annexwealth.com. Taking a look at your roads with your WTMJ Time Saver traffic. All right, we have incidents on the board. They're all disabled vehicles. They're all in a row. So we'll start north. 43 north at Good Hope Road. There's the right shoulder's blocked with a disabled vehicle there. The 94 south at the ramp from Beecher. The right shoulder's blocked there with a disabled vehicle. There's another disabled vehicle on the exit to westbound Holt on 94 south. And 45 south at Burleigh. The left shoulder's blocked with a disabled vehicle. However, if you are heading toward Green Bay, no incidents or issues to report. Here's your WTMJ 5-day forecast today. Partly cloudy with a slight chance of rain to the north, a high of 68. Tonight, mostly cloudy with light rain late, a low of 44. For your Friday, mostly cloudy, showers likely, ending early in the afternoon, a high of 57. Saturday, mostly sunny with a high of 57 again. Sunday, partly cloudy with a night storm chance, a high of 64. And for your Monday, partly cloudy, warm with a slight chance of storms, a high of 79. Right now in Delavan, it's 67. If you're heading to Green Bay, it's 54. And in Milwaukee, it's partly cloudy and 48 degrees. I'm Tiff Pua. Outdoor Living Unlimited WTMJ News Time is 11:34.
Here's to sweet summer days together with friends and family in Wisconsin. To discovering magic in every moment.
Hey, Mom, over here.
And to reconnecting through a world filled with wonder.
Wow.
Here's to supper club celebrations and dancing until the sun goes down. Here's to those who Wisconsin. Plan your summer getaway at travelwisconsin.com.
WTMJ's Eric Bilstead here for Tri-County Contracting. We talk all the time about Tri-County Contracting, the place to go for roofs and siding, but don't forget, Tri-County Contracting also does windows. Need a new front entry door? Tri-County Contracting, or maybe a patio door that's always jammed. Get your free estimates today. They've been helping homeowners like you for 46 years. Tri-County Contracting, WI.com. It's worry-free roofing, siding, and windows. Tri-County Contracting, WI.com.
Are you worried about running out of money in retirement? Wondering about how to pay less taxes? Join me, Tony Drake, for the Retirement Ready Show, live every Saturday at noon and Sunday at 7 a.m. on WTMJ 620 or 103.3 FM. We'll talk about smart strategies to help you retire with confidence. Don't miss it.
Drake & Associates LLC is an independent investment advisory firm that offers a variety of different investment vehicles. This commercial is provided for informational purposes only and should not be construed as individual investment advice. Drake & Associates LLC does not provide legal or tax advice. Past performance is not indicative of future performance.
This is Matt Meitner, owner of Sit Means Sit Dog Training. Do you find yourself talking to your dog but feel like she's not listening to you?
Bella, sit!
Are you constantly repeating yourself but she's not following your directions?
Sit! Sit!
Frustrating, isn't it? At Sit Means Sit Dog Training, we want to help you have a happy, confident, and obedient dog, and we also want to make the training process an enjoyable and worthwhile experience. Contact Sit Means Sit today to schedule a free consultation so we can create a customized training program so you are able to have the dog you want and deserve.
Sit Means Sit Dog Training. Sorry, we don't train husbands, wives, or kids.
All right, Steve, you've not started collecting Social Security checks yet.
No.
No. Has Kathy?
Yes.
Okay.
She's retired already 4 years.
Yeah. So, what would Kathy do if she all of a sudden found out that she was mistakenly added to the death master file and stopped getting her Social Security?
She'd be very mad.
Yeah, I would have to imagine.
Yeah.
So that is something that happens. Apparently, there's about 600 people a month that are placed in the database mistakenly for reasons ranging from clerical errors to bad information. Because if you have to imagine, once you get moved to a death master file, then you have to prove that you are certainly still alive. And if you're someone, if obviously for you guys, you're still working, it would not be, it would be annoying, but it would not be, I can't pay my rent or buy food if all of a sudden Social Security checks
kind of a
stop
big
coming
deal.
in. But it's still a big deal for some people because that is, for some people, their main income. Well, now, with, the false claims with Elon Musk and his the Doge service about dead people getting benefits, it's now led to a new effort to move millions of names to the death master file, obviously this would increase the odds that more people who are alive would inadvertently be declared dead, which as you cut more people from working in Social Security, then there are obviously less people to help rectify the situation. So this could be causing a lot of heartache for a lot of older people.
It's a great point that you made because one of the conversations about chopping thousands of employees. I've been in a Social Security office because I had to sign up for Medicare when I turned 65, and all of us have to do that if you want to get Medicare. And it was a great process, but now there's less people doing that.
And less offices.
And when you have less people doing more work, the opportunity for, as you said, clerical errors or other errors, data processing errors, goes up significantly.
Also wait times.
Yes. So, and I've said this at the beginning of all of this stuff, and I'm not a fan of Doge. I'm a big fan of government efficiency, but not in the style that Elon Musk does it. And I don't want to get into a Musk conversation here. And I want to take a quick break because we're going to hopefully have a guest after the break. I just want it done right. And yes, governments make mistakes, but we need to fix these mistakes and not demonize people or cut off their benefits unfairly. Because I can tell you right now, I don't care if you're Republican or Democrat, you cut off someone's benefits, they're not going to be happy about it, and they don't care who they voted for. They're going to be mad about it.
Absolutely. So when we come back, we're actually going to be talking to former Social Security Administration Commissioner Martin O'Malley, who has just landed in Wisconsin. He is having a town hall tonight in Racine. So I think our first question to him is, after his experience working in Social Security, what would he fix if he could have had the time to do it compared to the fixes being offered right now? So stay with us for our next conversation with Martin O'Malley after this.
Visit family-owned Ken Michaels Furniture and our in-store design centers where you'll still find beautiful, luxurious, heirloom-quality American-made furniture. Right now, save 30 to 35% store-wide and take advantage of our complimentary design services. Whether you're moving, renovating, or updating, our designers will help your vision become a reality. Visit Ken Michaels Furniture in Brookfield on Capitol Drive and in Greenfield on Highway 100 to save 30 to 35% store-wide today. Sleep better and save more with mattresses from Milwaukee Mattress and Ken Michaels Furniture. Handcrafted in our Milwaukee factory, our mattresses utilize natural materials like cotton cushioning, which dissipates body heat, Joma wool quilts for warm wintry nights and cool summer evenings, and natural latex providing superior conformability and pressure relief for aching joints. Stop in today at any Ken Michaels Furniture store and save up to 50% compared to national brands.
We didn't write the headline, the Wall Street Journal did. The days of set and forget investing just ended for many Americans. Economic uncertainty and global unrest. It's a wake-up call. Standard financial advice is to avoid making rash decisions during market turmoil. But retirement planning isn't a set it and forget it process anymore. That's where Annex Wealth Management comes in. As fee-only fiduciaries, we craft personalized plans that adapt as needed. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite. Head to annexwealth.com and click the Get Started button.
A Brewers group outing is the best way to celebrate any special occasion. Whether it's a birthday party, anniversary, or bachelor party, baseball is better with the group. Grab your crew of just 15 or more for an event you won't forget. Brewers account reps make your day at the ballpark a breeze. Plus, get set up with customizable tailgate spaces, seating blocks in your favorite location at American Family Field, and much more. Start planning your group outing now at brewers.com/groups.
WTMJ's Vince Vitrano for USA Insulation. Premium injection foam, filling your walls and saving you money from day one. Jeff and his team at USA Insulation do a full energy audit on your home or business to see where you're losing money. Then they help you score rebates and discounts that can cut the cost of your project in half. Then they get you 0% interest on financing for up to 72 months. It's a home improvement project that actually saves you money. Tell Jeff Vinny sent you to usainsulation.net.
USA Insulation.
70 years ago, the Blaine brothers founded Blaine's Farm and Fleet as one of the nation's first retail stores to sell goods at a discount. And we've helped supply Midwest farms and families with quality products at unbeatable prices ever since. Like select Farnham Equine Fly Masks, $5 off. 5 gallons of Mystic Tractor Fluid, $39.99 after mail-in rebate. And 130-count Gojo Fast Towels Cleaning Buckets, $17.99. Find value on the things you value. Blaine's Farm and Fleet. Be an original.
Well, we are getting him fresh off his flight, landing in Wisconsin. Former Social Security Commissioner Martin O'Malley is here having a town hall tonight and is warning that the benefit payments could soon be delayed for Social Security for millions of people. And so we are happy to have him on today. Welcome to the show, Martin O'Malley.
Hey, thank you. Great to be with you all, and thanks for caring enough to talk about this. There's so much disinformation about a program that's so important to so many people. I really appreciate you all taking the time and focusing in.
So you were the commissioner from 2023 to 2024, and what were some of the main things that surprised you once you got that close to the Social Security program that maybe debunked some assumptions you had about it?
Yeah, there were two things that surprised me. I had also served as mayor of Baltimore, a city that went through a lot of really challenging times, biggest population loss of any major city in America, even more than Detroit in the 30 years before I was mayor. And then I was a governor during a recession, so we were always cutting and, reducing staffing. And so when I heard that Social Security's challenges were largely driven by a shortage of staffing, I kind of rolled my eyes and said, oh, come on, man. The federal government. It's a $1.4 trillion program. How could the shortage of staffing be that much of a problem? But it really was, and I can unpack and tell you why that is. The other thing that surprised me in a good way was the professionalism and the knowledge of a senior executive service and people on the front lines who, even with the huge mismatch between growing numbers of customers because of people of the baby boomer generation like me, and staffing reduced to a 50-year low, nonetheless understood that program, how it worked, and were able to keep cobbled together IT systems that have greatly been underfunded in terms of modernization, and even through COVID, never missed a monthly benefit. So it was an agency that I was honored to have led and served with those people, and it's a damn shame what's being done to it right now for no good reason.
I'm sorry to interrupt you there. When I turned 65, I remember the process. You go online, and then you go to a Social Security office. And I remember talking about this on my show, how well I thought that process worked. And one of my concerns is that when I see these supported efforts by Elon Musk and the president of the United States, Donald J. Trump, sort of mess with the system in a sort of generic search for fraud with not really a lot of detail underneath that or underlying that, I get a little worried because I know people pretty well. I was a mayor as well, and I know that people get really. Yes, I was.
Where were you mayor?
In Oak Creek.
Where were you mayor?
Oak Creek, Wisconsin, a much smaller city, 35,000. But I enjoyed my time as mayor.
It's the best job in politics, isn't it?
It is the best job. That's why I was excited when I knew you were going to be on the show, because we all mayor to mayor.
Mayor to mayor.
I love those conversations. But I guess my point is, people have expectations that their local government, their state government, their federal government is going to provide these essential services. And when there's a breakdown in that system because somebody's not doing something right at the highest level, that's on them, not on the people.
Yeah, Mayor, I when I wasn't, driving the collaborative train at the headquarters, which it happens to be in Baltimore, I was always out in somewhere in America visiting field offices, and I'd always go in through the front door, sit with people, ask them, what business they were there to do. And when I ran into people, as I would frequently do, that said, it took me a long time to get in, took me a long time to get an appointment, took me a long time on the phone, they would generally say, but once I got to a person, they were really good. The other thing people would sometimes say to me as they complained about the long waits, I would respond. I said, look, I'm very, very sorry. There's no good reason for it. But Congress has reduced their staffing to a 50-year low, even as the number of active pay status beneficiaries has risen to a new all-time high every day. And to a person, people would say they should let them have their staff they need. And that's because people know they worked and they paid in their whole lives. And, little understood fact is that the same dollars that people put in to earn their benefits are the same dollars that go to provide the customer service you need. So one of the you underscored it there, Mayor, when you said that the service you received was good. That was whatever it was. Was it pre-COVID, by the way?
It was after COVID, but it was a year and a half ago.
Okay, a year and a half ago. One of the things that they do pretty well is the effectuation of retiree benefits. Mm-hmm. They got that up in my year with them. They got that up to a 10-year high of effectuating those payments for 87% of applicants within 2 weeks, which is pretty damn good. Others, they've really struggled with. They're a big a part of it is the disability insurance claim when people apply for disability. In some states, it can take as long as a year for that initial disability determination. But one of the big myths, big lies that's been told about Social Security, there are many. Do we have a whole hour on your program? There are many
I think we got you for 4 more minutes.
Yeah.
There are many lies being told. One of them is it's never worked right, and it's always been broken, and that's just not true. It's gone for 90 years. There is no Ponzi scheme in the history of mankind that's ever lasted 90 years. Because it's not a Ponzi scheme. It's a pay-as-you-go program, which until about 10 years ago was allowed to operate on 1.2% overhead for benefits paid, which makes it the most efficient insurance company in America. 1.2% overhead, compare that to Allstate. Allstate's 19%. Liberty Mutual, 23%. So it is not a Ponzi scheme. Illegal immigrants are not allowed under law to receive Social Security benefits or even earn them, although they do pay in $25 billion for the rest of us. What's another one? There is no Walking Dead zombie apocalypse of 30 million people with checks spewing out of their cadaverous pockets.
You've been reading the Musk headlines, I think. Yes.
Humanese, they come off the fan so quickly you don't know what ones to throw back and which one's just to duck.
So,
but it's in a very vulnerable position.
Well, and that's what Commissioner, I want, because I know that's why.
Sure.
I know that's why you're here tonight, is to talk at the town hall. It's going to be in Racine at Dr. John Bryant Community Center. But as far as, because we're not there yet, like there's not rampant reporting of people missing their payments. So what are you seeing while you're like raising the alarm, saying that we're headed in that direction?
Yeah, I had kind of two choices. I could have either shut my mouth and gone in a spiritual direction, or I could speak up and let people know, from having learned from those good folks, what I see happening and where it's leading. And so this is what I see. I've seen, and we've all seen by now, the largest exodus of staff in the agency's history in the shortest period of time. Some of them were mass firings. Some of them were forcing people to resign. Some of them were actually paying people with our money to resign right the heck now and don't let the door hit your backside on the way out. That led to an immediate uptick in all of the wait times for all of the various lines of service, whether it's getting through on the 800 number, whether it's getting an appointment at the field office, whether it's effectuating your retirement benefits. All of those are now going in the wrong direction, and they're going there fast. The third thing that we've seen is intermittent interruptions in the various IT systems that sit atop that very old, but it has been reliable, old green screen COBOL-based system. We've seen the applications on top of that experiencing intermittent outages. Why? Because they've done away with 50% of the staff in the IT department in their arrogance, in their recklessness, or in their intent to crash the system. Those interruptions are going to become more frequent, and they are becoming of longer duration. And ultimately, those things will cascade into a domino effect that will affect the benefits that go out without fail in 4 different payment cycles every month and have for 90 years. But did you ever have an old car as your first car growing up? I did.
I had a 71 Buick LeSabre, and I still love that car. Hey,
I had a 1972 Pontiac Catalina that requires maintenance, and they've done away with the people that this agency requires to maintain those benefits without interruption. That's the bottom line.
I'm glad you came on. One more chance, real quick, to plug your appearance tonight, because we got to get to break here.
Yeah, thank you. It's in Racine at the Dr. John Bryant Community Center, and it starts at about 6 p.m.
Perfect. All right. Well, welcome to Wisconsin. Get some cheese curds while you're here, Commissioner.
Hey, thank you. Go cheese curds. All right. Thanks.
Pleasure to meet you.
Bye. Pleasure to meet you both.
All right. We'll
Final break.
Come back and wrap it up.
If you're going to put some of your hard-earned profits into advertising, you better do it right, because we know you don't want to waste a dime. If you want ad success, it's not just knowing what to say, it's knowing how to say it. Telling isn't selling, and a message that doesn't sell will waste your money. With thousands of ads of experience, we know what to say and how to say it to get you better results. Go to Anderson-Smith.com's Our Work page to listen and see why we're the guys smart advertisers call to make their ad dollars work harder. We found that whatever kind of ad you decide to run, if it doesn't sell, it's a bad ad. One thing we're pretty good at is digging deep to find what truly sets our clients apart from their competition. And we're always surprised at what we find and have often asked, well, why haven't you been telling the public that? There are things about your business that you aren't telling enough people, and certainly not often enough. We'll fix that. Go to Anderson-Smith.com and hit the Contact Us button, because we help small business advertisers get better results.
At Potawatomi, where ways to win are endless, another chance to capture epic cash and prizes comes Friday, June 27th. It's the season finale blockbuster drawings. Watch your entries from Enchanted Spins, Unreal Treasures, and Boundless Bounty come together for drawings where $300,000 in cash and prizes is there for the taking. Be there to win your share. June 27th only at Potawatomi Casino Hotel, Milwaukee. More info online. Must be 21 years old to play.
Public service, courage, bravery, sacrifice. These are terms used to describe those who work in public safety who go above and beyond each and every day of their lives. If you have a police officer, dispatcher, fire professional, or an emergency nurse who impacted your life, in May we'll honor the best examples of paying it forward, sharing the tremendous stories of these local heroes. Nominate your local hero at WTMJ.com. Click on the Salute to Service banner at the top, or by texting SALUTE to the Siding Unlimited talk and text line.
It's Steve Scaffidi Salute to Service, presented by Waterstone Bank.
Get the last roof you'll ever need with steel roofing from Menards. Steel roofing is durable, offering your home the best protection from wind, hail, and fire. Choose from 29 stylish colors that enhance the appearance of your home. They are available in cut-to-your-length panels that cover a large area quickly for fast installation. Plus, check out our weekly flyer for other great deals happening now.
Save big money at Menards.
Buy one pizza today, get a second pizza free at the Amazing Mineshaft restaurant in Hartford and in Oshkosh. Don't cook, don't even think about it. You don't need to clean up either. Call, order, and pick up shortly, or just walk in for your free Thursday pizza, mineshaft.restaurant.com.
With an ever-changing inventory, you never know what great bargains you're going to be able to find at St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores. It makes shopping fun because the best finds are the ones you had no idea you'd even come across. And when they're at thrift store prices, it feels good. And it feels even better to know you're helping us help others. Shop St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores on Highway 100 in Layton and Greenfield, 23rd in Lincoln, and 76th and Bradley Road in Milwaukee.
You're gonna love it, St. Vincent de Paul.
WTMJ, W277CV, and WKTI HD2 Milwaukee. From the Annex Wealth Management Studios, this is News Radio WTMJ, a Good Karma brand station.
All right, it is Take Your Child to Work Day. Steve, did you ever bring your girls to work?
I don't think so, because I worked remote at home or I was traveling, so I don't think so, no.
So we've had throughout the day, if you do the watch, 855-616-1620. If you text watch, you may see some munchkins in the newsroom or the studio throughough the day because there's
like
lots
Greg
of
Matzik.
people.
I took Greg Matzik to work. He's walking behind me, and you can see him on the monitor.
And so Frankie did not come because we were told that if you bring your child to work today, you were still responsible for them. So I don't know who was going to watch her while we were on air, but
Greg gave me a potato.
Potato.
Yeah, interesting.
It's a stress relief potato.
I have no stress today. I'm good.
But yeah. I like this. I remember going. It started. I looked this up. So it started in 1992. It was originally Take Your Daughter to Work Day.
Yeah.
It was started by the Ms. Foundation as far as inspiring young girls for different careers that they could be. And I remember going to Merrill Lynch right on the square in Madison and view of the Capitol. I don't think my dad hung out with me a lot during that day. I think I spent a lot of time with his secretary, I was there.
We're running late, but tell your donut story real quick.
Oh, yeah.
This morning. So
I'm so hungry right now.
The kids that came
they
for this
brought
day.
in donuts, and I was like, ooh, are these up for grabs? And I was told, no, they are for the children.
And
so I'm going to go buy my own donut.
Kristen so wanted a donut. And if I had more time, I have to go run to Green Bay, I would have bought you a donut. But
all right.
Some other time.
We'll have fun in Green Bay.
I will check in with you tomorrow.
We'll see you remotely tomorrow. But Wisconsin's Midday News is next.
Loyalty, family. Few things are more important. This is